Have you ever given serious thought to practice, to the word practice, what it means? Why do so many engage or participate in practice, sports, martial arts, in the military, and why so many people in their day-to-day lives don't focus on actually practicing whatever their craft is? Have you ever given thought to that? Well, today we're going to be talking about valuing practice. And the title of this video is Why Practice Matters More Than Talent. Again, why practice matters more than talent. Years ago, my father made another powerful statement. He said, your talent will take you where your character won't keep you. And that simply means that all of us are born with certain gifts and talents. All of us. They differ. They vary. Some of them may even be similar or very close to being the same, but they're a gift or a talent nonetheless. However, if you don't work on developing it and mastering it, you'll become a has-been. You develop the mindset of a shoulda, woulda, coulda been. You'll be a person who has plenty of potential but never executed, at least not to the level you were capable of. And you'll also spend your life, if you allow yourself, in regret. And so I hope this video really finds you in a place and in a mindset where you take this to heart. Don't just hear a good video, and you might have to hear it more than once, more than twice. And you may know someone else who could benefit from this video. So please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Not just for algorithm purposes, because yes, I do want to grow this channel, grow this platform. However, my goal is to make an impact. And if you believe what we're going to talk about today is going to impact the life of somebody you know, please feel free to share it. So again, we talk about why practice matters more than talent. I hope by the end of this video that you begin to value the gift of practice. See, practice is not just repetition. It is intentional repetition with purpose. People don't rise to their goals. They fall to the level of their practice. If you do not intentionally set out to prepare yourself for any type of endeavor or activity, especially when you know you have a huge window of opportunity to prepare yourself for a test, practice for your test, or those who are in sports, they're practicing their skill, practice dribbling a basketball, or practice throwing a football, practice catching, whatever the sport is. If you don't build muscle memory, if you don't build consistency, if you don't build those necessary habits, it won't be because you are not talented. It may simply mean you didn't build a system, put a system in place that will work for you on demand. So people don't rise to their goals. They fall to the level of their practice. You can have all these lofty goals. You can have all these lofty expectations. People can build up your ego or your confidence and tell you how talented you are and what you are capable of based on your potential. But if you do not participate, if you don't have an actionable plan, you don't have a strategy in place, and if you don't build up the habits by practice, continual practice, you could short circuit, if not destroy, your own future. Never mind anybody else. We're always going to have somebody who opposes us. There are always going to be obstacles. There are always going to be opponents. Okay, that's in life. The question is not what happens to you. The question is what happens in you and what will happen or can happen through you. Don't be a victim, be a winner. Most people admire talent, but they overlook practice. They see the performance, but ignore the preparation. They see the results, but not the repetition behind it. Today we're talking about something simple but powerful, and that is, again, the value of practice. Notice notice something. I'm repeating or building the reputation of using the word practice. Why? I wanted to get into your subconscious mindset. How many of you watch? Some of you grew up like me and watched Michael Jordan play basketball. Some of you saw Magic Johnson. Some of you see LeBron James or Kobe Bryant. Or in golf, Tiger Woods, or whoever your favorite golfer is, or favorite swimmer, or hockey player, or baseball player, whatever it is, soccer. You see your favorite player and they stand out amongst the rest. You have players, you have role players, you have stars, and then you have superstars. In general, you have 3 tiers. How do they separate themselves? Is it somebody else putting them in these categories? Likely not. People separate themselves, number one, by their mindset, I think. Number one, by their mindset, and number two, by their habits and their activities. Also their talents, too. Okay, playing in the same sport, or in the same profession, or in the same business industry. Many people set themselves apart simply by their habits, simply by their mindsets, not just their talents. Some people show up early, leave late. Some people show up just to earn their paycheck and get out. And so you have to decide. You actually forget everybody else. Let's remove all excuses and let's think about what we can control. Right? You agree? Go ahead and type in the bottom in the video in the comment section. I agree. Go ahead and type in there. I agree. Or you disagree. Maybe you disagree. But if we're going to do and have what we were put here on this planet to do, to accomplish the goals that we've had in our hearts and our minds, some of us for a few days, just starting out, some of us for a few months, some for a number of years, we have to, number one, know what it is you want to do. So before we even launch into practice, the question is what is it that I really want to do, or am I engaged in right now that I know I can be better at? Other people see that I can be better at, but I'm not giving my best to it. Or maybe you say, you know what, I am doing the best I can that I know. Well, but then push yourself even harder. Ask yourself some different questions, and you might see a gap in there somewhere. And you say, you know what, I can improve in that area. I can speak better. I can improve my vocabulary. I can improve my wardrobe and how I carry myself, the way I walk, the way I sit, the way I eat, the way I drive. All those things. If you open your mind up, you might be able to see the gaps in your lifestyle, not in terms of throwing stones at yourself to beat yourself up or down. No, this is about improving. So if you see somebody that you admire in sports or in business, in media, whatever, and I'm certainly talking about good things, okay? I'm just going to say things that actually help benefit you and others. Then this is an opportunity for you to change the course of your life. It's entirely up to you. I'm talking about in terms of you making the decision to do so. For those of you who believe in God, ask God for help and guidance, but you have to make that decision. And so if you're in business or again, whatever the industry or whatever the goals you've accomplished, sometimes it's not professional. Maybe it's a certain activity. You want to go on a certain vacation destination. You want to go for 2 weeks instead of 1 week. You want to make X amount of dollars. These principles work across the board. Practice the habits of a winner and you'll get winning habits. Now, I know we're going to cover some of that in the video. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but my point is I'm excited for you. If you put these principles into practice, they will change your life. Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant didn't become Kobe Bryant overnight. Tiger Woods didn't become Tiger Woods. Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk. I bet you if you did some research, if Elon writes a book, and to my knowledge he hasn't, but if Elon writes a book, because I hadn't looked that up, but if Elon writes a book, I wonder how many mistakes he's going to tell you about before he perfected his products, like with Tesla or with SpaceX or some of his other ventures that he's working on, going to Mars and things like that, or when he created his satellites and all of that. None of the processes were perfect. Or Thomas Edison, how many times did he practice? Some people call it failure, but how many times did he practice before he found one way for the lights to work? I heard the number was over 10,000 times. Michael Jordan says he missed 10,000 shots or something like that. So winning in life, not winning based on the categories other people set for you, the categories you set for yourself. You can win at being you. You can win at being a husband or a wife or mother, a son or daughter. You can win being a friend. You can win being a good family member. You can win being a good employer or employee. Winning across the board. So what is practice really? Practice is not just doing something over and over. Practice is intentional repetition. That's what it is. Practice is doing something again with the goal of getting better. When you go work out, you start seeing a couple of bumps on your arms or your legs getting a little more taking shape. Don't stop. Keep it up. Don't get excited only at the progress if that's not your goal. If that's your goal, go and stop, look at it, and then maintain it. Unless you want to go to another level. What you repeat with intention improves. Let me say that again. What you repeat with intention, that is with focus, with purpose, that is what's going to improve. Now remember, this works both ways. If you practice failing, you're going to continue to be a good, successful failure. If you practice cheating, you're going to be a successful cheater. The principles work across the board. So why does practice matter? It matters because it does three things for you. Number one, it builds skill. That's what it does. It builds skill. So now you're moving out of the area of lack. You're you're making yourself more valuable. I had something else I was going to say on that, but maybe another time. Number two, it builds confidence. Now that you know what you're doing, now that you know what you're working on and you're seeing some results, your confidence grows because you're doing it. And thirdly, it builds consistency. For me, for example, I enjoy visiting with y'all weekly, right? But I've had some consistency problems, so I have to improve. No excuses. I may have some valid reasons, but my goal is to have no excuses. I want to post a video at least once a week, and this is why I'm doing this bonus video, what I call TGIF, TGIF bonus videos for you when I miss a Monday. Why? It helps keep me accountable, and it shows you that I'm committed to this thing. I'm not just here just to post a video be a one and done. I've done that part before. So my goal is to be consistent here. I got to continue to practice and continue to get better and continue to improve in my speaking, continue improving some of the stories and things like that. I am growing. Some of this y'all are seeing in real time. Without practice, growth stays random. And I don't know about you, you know what random sounds like? You know what the word random sounds like? It sounds like luck. So you cannot predict luck no more than you can predict random. I want something. Now, those things happen that you probably can't explain. That there's a you see a trend, if you will, or you have certain occurrences that happen that seem lucky and they're good, or for some people they seem lucky and it's bad for them or bad to them, and they look at it and they can't put their finger on why it is that way. Well, success is not random. Success is very, very predictable. Failure is too. They both are principles. What you might call two sides of the same coin. So don't look for random or luck. Be intentional. Be purposeful. And then you'll have a right to expect certain outcomes. With practice, growth, becomes predictable. So what this practice does? Practice helps me shape identity. So you can be a successful person, have a winning mentality, but if you don't do what that winner supposed to do, what a winner's supposed to do, you will not have what a winner would have. It's really that simple. None of this is rocket science. You do not have to go to school and get a PhD for that. What you practice regularly, you become naturally. If you practice discipline, you become what? Disciplined. If you practice quitting, you become what? Someone who quits. Practice is not just about building skill. It's about building momentum. It's about building identity. I'm about to talk about momentum again. So I talked about that one time before. But you do know practice actually, if you practice the right habits, the right way, the right times consistently, you also build momentum. So that wasn't in my notes, but it flows. Practice helps you build momentum. Now, what you practice determines what momentum you are building. Now, this is This is one of the greatest problems most of us have had. Why people avoid practice. People avoid practice. Why? Because it feels repetitive. And it is. Or it feels repetitive because it is repetitive. Number two, it feels slow. Some of us want activity. We want this to happen. We want this to be popping off. We want that big event to be taking place. No. Let it do what it do. You do what you're supposed to do and let it do what it do. I'm talking about the thing you can't control, which is the process. Then it also feels boring. It's not exciting. See, a lot of you want to be like Michael Jordan or back in the day, Kobe Bryant, or whoever your favorite, it could be a musician that you really enjoy. You don't know about most people. I'll say it that way. Some of you might do your homework and you listen to these guys talk about their hours of practice they put into their craft. But some people want to just show up, be talented, execute, perform, and get paid like it. We just want things to be done like that. And that was one of the problems I had. I wanted to show up, ready to rock and roll. I didn't work the principles. Therefore, the principles didn't work for me. How can they work for me if I'm not working them? So listen to this. What feels boring is often what builds mastery. Those hours that you put into studying, those hours that you put into practicing your craft, studying for that test or that job promotion, whatever, that helps build mastery. I don't want to be a master of nothing. And I don't want to be a master of one thing if I have the capacity to be a master of other things, right? But the most important thing to be a master of is to be a master of you. You must control your mindset, your activity, and you have a large say or you have a lot to say about the outcomes that comes towards you, the accomplishments that you'll have. All because you did the boring. All because you did the thing that seemed so slow. All because you did the thing that was repetitive. Most people ain't gonna do this. I do not expect most people to hear who listen to this video. I do not expect most people to actually apply the principles of what I'm talking about. Because a lot of us have heard things like this before, right? Just hadn't heard it from me, but you've heard it before. And some people are gonna stay the way they are. That's their choice. For some of you, there's somebody, and this might be you. You come across this video, this is what you needed to hear. And then it helps light a spark underneath you, and you go and make some things happen. And that's what I hope happens to you. So we have to also learn how to practice the right way. So this is how we practice the right way. This is how what leads to success for us. Be consistent and not occasional. Stop starting, only to restart, only to restart. Make a commitment and discipline yourself. When I talk to you, I'm talking to me. I'm reinforcing these ideas. I'm reinforcing these principles for me. We must stop being occasional. You can't be seasonal. There's certain things that are seasonal, but this should not be. Whatever that is, the habit of developing the right practice techniques, or what I'm supposed to be practicing in order to improve and to get better, to improve my knowledge, to sharpen my skill set. That should not be something, even when you're tired of it, that should not be something that is occasional. We should always be growing. Yes, there's a rest period. You should give yourself some grace in there to rest at times during that time, doing those activities, but stay with it. Keep it on the schedule. Number 2, be intentional and not careless. I have talked to people who have been careless. They get good encouragement. They hear what they needed to hear. They ask good questions. You give them a good answer, and it goes in one ear and out the other. And some people you observe, you can tell they don't care. They showed up to work, don't care. They showed up on a basketball court, they don't care. The relationships, the relationship with their family members or friends, they don't care. Some of them don't care about their health. Some of them don't care about their purpose. Some of them don't care about their career. They don't care. The people who don't care, I let them hang where they want to hang, in the careless zone. I try to help people where I can. And I know what that's like. There's some things in life, that I should have cared more about in the past. that I've learned, and I still am learning in some areas, to care about, to be intentional about. But I hope that's not you. Or if you are in that state of mind right now, I hope this video finds you open to exploring the things you've been afraid of, and start caring about your life and or about the life of others. Maybe you don't care as much about you, but you care about somebody else more than you care about you. Okay, I hope this opens up for you to start caring more about you so you can better care for them. Number 3, focus on improvement, not perfection. And this speaks to me. I have been a perfectionist at heart. That's why I said I wanted to show up ready to go. That's not how life works. It's just not the way it works. You have to put in the work. In this world, you have to put in the work. Focus on improvement, not perfection. Give yourself grace and give some other people some grace too. Small improvements repeated daily create powerful results. If you look around you, there is a lot of systems in place that work around the clock, if you will, repetitiously, that keeps the order that many of us experience on a day-to-day basis, but we're unaware of it because we don't see any chaos. It's that consistent that it goes underneath many people's radars. It's right there in plain sight, but many people don't think about those things until or unless there's something to break that cycle, to break that pattern. So let me leave you with this. Don't underestimate practice. It's one of God's greatest gifts to mankind. When I say mankind, I'm talking about men and women. We are not perfect beings, but many of us are going through the perfecting process. I say many of us, that's for another reason. If you want to know why I say it like that, go ahead and ask me in the video, in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to answer you. But many of us are going through a perfecting process. So we need to do, part of that process is us practicing to being better thinkers, better communicators, better practitioners. So in some way, shape, form, or fashion, we become experts or masters at what we do. The greats never stop growing. They never stop learning. Why should you? Why don't you be great? Be the greatest you, not by comparison to anybody else. This is not about comparing to other people in that sense. This is not what it's about. This is about you becoming, you compare yourself to yourself. Don't compare yourself to Darius. I'm not comparing myself to you. Don't compare yourself to so-and-so or this. No, you become the greatest you that you can be. Practice learning how to be, learn how to be who you were meant to be, and practice being that. And you'll see great success. Practice being the best employee, employer, again, family member, friend, whatever, business person, athlete, whatever. Practice intentionally taking certain steps. You know what this means? When you hone in your focus to practice one thing, that means you have to put something else aside. Some of us have too many distractions in our lives. Sometimes all it takes is one thing. Put those things aside and focus on honing your skills, your skill sets, your mindset. Increase your value so you can help bring greater value into the lives of others. And you will see, others will notice your transformation, and they'll want to be a part of that. Some people are going to be repelled by it. Some people are going to be attracted by it. You can't control that, but do not apologize for it either. I want to thank God for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this TGIF bonus video. Enjoy your weekend. Make the best of it. And remember this, to maximize the moment.